Good morning and welcome to this how-to video for parents. I'm Karen Locke-Culp. I am the creator of the website and podcast WeTurnedOutOK.com. I am a child development expert. I've got degrees in early childhood education and human development, family relations, and I've now got a combined 15 years worth of experience helping kids and parents. And I'm really excited to be helping you today. So we want to talk about the best mindset a kid can have for learning. And this is it's really kind of counterintuitive. You would think that the best mindset you could have for learning, you could give them by saying things like the kind of praise that we often think of. You're so smart. You are really, really smart. You're so intelligent, right? A lot of comments like that we will make to kids. And that has actually kind of a backhanded, like, what happens when we tell kids that they're really smart and we really communicate that to them is if we give them, if we tell them they're really, really smart and they take in this idea, oh, I'm really smart. I can I can take tests. I can learn things, whatever. If they ever fail, which of course, pretty well all of learning is coming up against something that you can't understand right away, and you have to buckle down, basically. A lot of kids, or kids who are taught you're really smart, will shy away from bigger and bigger challenges because they only want things that illustrate how smart they are. If you get an A on a test because it's an easy test, you can say, oh, I'm really smart. Here's a reward, for my intelligence. And it's much, much better to have the idea that, like, there's a lot of interesting, challenging learning, that challenging learning is also fun learning. And it feels really nebulous. It's kind of hard to keep those two ideas in mind. The idea of, like, we don't want to say you're really smart, but we do want to get kids thinking about the challenges are good and interesting and fun. Even if you fail, they're still interesting and fun. Until I found that it was difficult to keep in my mind, until I thought of it in the following way, as either a fixed mindset, which is the sort of you're really smart. It's considered fixed because that kind of person thinks that their intelligence is fixed and they can't learn anything new. And I used to have that mindset, which is why I know it so well. And the growth mindset says, well, let's try it. Let's see what this is. We're curious, and so today I just want to share a little bit about how to foster the second kind, the growth mindset, as opposed to the first kind, the fixed mindset. And if you want, I'm not going to get into the theory here at all about this. I do talk a lot about, like, theory and stuff on the corresponding podcast episode to this show, to this particular YouTube video. It is episode 271 of We Turned Out Okay, and the link is right in the show notes below this video. And basically, it is the idea that what I wanted to do in that podcast episode is it's a little more long form, and I want to share with you the kind of underpinnings of this model. There are a lot of them. Like, there's really, really good research and evidence to suggest that this is the way kids learn best. This is how to best foster learning, true learning. And so go and listen to that. WeTurnedOutOK.com/271 if you want to listen to it. And in the meantime, I just want to get into there's two ways that I think we can foster this kind of mindset. It has to, the other way to think about it is, it has to do with valuing effort over avoiding failure. So if you think about a fixed mindset, the whole mindset there is, I can't fail, because if I fail, if I get an F or a C or something like that, and whatever failure means, that shows that I'm not smart. And so what a person with a fixed mindset will do is do everything they can, including cheating, to try and show how smart they are, to show the world how smart they are, because that's the only way they can prove to themselves how smart they are. And we really, really, really want to get out of that. So the way to do that is to value effort over avoiding failure. And in practical terms, that really looks like when we're thinking about raising kids, because likely you have, fairly young kids if you're watching. And what we want to do is first of all, try and work to adopt a growth mindset yourself. So if you, like me, um, used to have a fixed mindset of like really hard to take on new challenges, really hard to not view yourself as a failure if there's evidence that you are not up to this task or that you're not doing this task as well as you quote should be doing it. Try and work to change that mindset yourself. And that means, first of all, giving yourself a break and saying to yourself things like, I know that that I'm smart at, like, I think that maybe is where we would all probably need to start. But to take the focus off of being smart or not being smart, and instead to think to yourself, I can learn this. I'm capable. And then to look at what makes you curious about it. And again, there's a lot more about this in the podcast episode that I did. But right now, right here, I just want you to know that there's two quick things to think about. The first one is adopting a growth mindset yourself. And the second one is when you are talking with your child, when you are in a kind of learning moment with your child, which is pretty well any moment with a kid who's, 6, 7 or under, everything that they're doing, they're always continually immersed in learning. They may not be learning what we want them to learn, but they are always learning. They take it all in. And so when you are with your child, it's really tempting to test their knowledge. What color are you using to color that drawing? How many swings are there on the swing set? Like to sort of get them to do these rote things, counting, identifying colors, or other factual information in which there is a right or a wrong answer. And instead of doing that, I want you to trust that your child is going to learn these things. They will, because in open-ended conversation, it comes up, right? And that's really what this has to do with. The second part of this is ask open-ended questions and then really listen to the answers that your child gives. So if you're walking together, ask them about what they're seeing and hearing, and ask them about what they think about it. This is how we inspire curiosity. This is how we, first of all, there's just the marvel of like all the cool things that your child sees or believes, or there's this idea of like, this is another, you're connecting with another human being, and they have valid and useful and cool things to share. And the sooner we can help them understand that they do have valid and cool and useful things to share, the more we inspire their curiosity and their growth mindset, which is what's going to lead them to want to know more and to want to challenge themselves. It really has to do with like, do you cringe back from a challenge, or do you say, oh yeah, that looks like fun? So one example that I didn't actually use in the podcast, but I often think about is, I'm a skier, and I love the sort of steepest, most black diamondest, toughest terrain. I am learning to love bumpy stuff like moguls or whatever. I've done some bowl skiing, which is like when you get out in these huge big bowls. And hang on, I just have to shut my curtain a little bit. There we go. The sun's coming up, which is great, but it's in my face. And the thing about those black diamonds is they're super challenging, like, right? You like when you are doing them, when you're taking them on, you have to be ready for a challenge. And sometimes I don't ski them very well at all. Sometimes I ski them great. Like and when I go into one, when I'm starting on something like that, I always think to myself like, oh, this is fun. This is going to be fun. And then it kind of doesn't matter how well I do it technically. Is it perfect or not? I think that, you need to be in control, and you need to have the technical skills to get down. But other than that, the more technical skills I learn, the faster I can go and still stay in control. And I love that kind of stuff. And I bring it up because not just for it itself, but one of my favorite T-shirts I ever saw on a toddler was a friend of ours had a really challenging child. Didn't get a lot of sleep, very willful, a lot of meltdowns, a lot of yelling and screaming and stuff like that, but incredibly fun, and very tempestuous, I guess I would say. And somebody gave her a shirt with a black diamond on it that said "most difficult," and it was definitely, if you, because that is the skier sign. Like, so there you'll see signs all over the mountain that say, with a big black diamond says "most difficult," so that if you can't handle it, you should not go there. And what I love about this shirt is it's this girl who, yes, is most difficult, but there is incredible value in getting to know someone who is, quote, most difficult, um, because with that is also a lot of beauty, and so I see the beauty in a challenge, and I hope you do too. And if you don't yet, I really hope to encourage you to think on it. Jessica Leahy has written an incredible book called The Gift of Failure, which again I reference in the podcast episode. Which can help you like really thoroughly understand that. She's been on my show, so I've got an interview with her that's also in the links for this episode. You can find all that at WeTurnedOutOK.com/271. And for all this, I guess as I'm wrapping up, I just want you to think on these two things. First of all, there's a mindset shift, adopting this growth mindset yourself. And second of all, just asking open-ended questions, just asking your child, changing the kind of questions you ask your child. And to say, instead of saying "you're so smart," say instead, "that's interesting. What are you doing there?" And just see what comes of it. So so much of life comes from the serendipitous moments, and the things that look most challenging can also be the most fun. And if I can leave you with that and inspire you with that for today, that's really what I'm hoping to do. So thank you so much for watching. If you would share this video, that would be super helpful. If you'd share it with a friend, if you just click the like button if you got something out of it. And finally, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you will get notifications whenever I'm going live, and I do these every Thursday. So so hang in there for that. And again, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. We'll see you next time.